Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Soft Flow. My name is John Cottrell, and Soft Flow is a 60-minute gentle yoga practice. And that just means that we're going to be moving a little bit more slowly than a power yoga class, which I often teach, and really using props in a way to really take care of ourselves in our practice. And so I've got a couple of blocks here. You might want to have some blocks, a bolster, and you may want to have a blanket. I forgot my blanket this time, but you may want to have a blanket or just something soft so that you can have some cushioning for your joints, like your knees or your wrists and elbows, things like that. So just go ahead and grab your props that you might want to use for your practice. And we'll begin in seated. So find a comfortable seat. You want to sit up nice and tall. You can sit with your legs crossed, or you can extend your legs, whatever feels best for you, your knee joints, your legs, your ankles. So sitting up nice and tall. You may want to start with a few deep breaths in and out to prepare for our practice. And as you're preparing, I'll go ahead and talk about what we'll be focusing on in our practice today. So just some slow, deep breaths in and out. Just moving inward and connecting. As you're breathing in, you just want to feel the breath rising up to fill up your lungs, just a nice expansiveness in the chest. And as you exhale, draw your navel inward towards your spine, a nice engagement there, connecting to your abdominal system. So again, you want to breathe in deeply, feel the breath rising to fill up your lungs. And your exhale to draw navel inward towards your spine. That light contraction of your abdominal muscles, and we call that the abdominal lock. And just continue with that steady flow of breath. In our practice today, we're going to be focusing on upper body strength. Upper body strength. So there'll just be some very simple, basic postures just to tune into the dynamic of engaging the upper body for endurance and strength. Continue with your slow, steady breath. And if you're able, breathe a little slower. So a nice long breath in. Feel as if the breath is just rising upward slowly, and just feel that wonderful expansiveness in the chest and your lungs. You might even feel yourself sitting up a little taller. Then your exhale, connecting to your center body. We'll be focusing on our core quite a bit here too. Since we are going to be focusing on upper body strengthening, we're going to rely quite a bit on our core strength. Let's take 3 more breaths here. We're going to add a very simple movement to our breathing. I call this our moving meditation. So whenever you're ready, you'll just go ahead and inhale and extend your arms out, reaching up into the air. A nice stretch as you reach for the ceiling. Then exhale, extend your arms out and let them float back down by your side. Just take your time with that. Again, inhale, extend your arms out, really reaching so there's an effort of extension as if you're going to touch the walls on either side of you, reaching up to touch the ceiling. Then exhale, same thing, extending your arms out, good energy in your hands and fingers. And as your arms float back down by your side, completing the breath. Continue on your own, just breathing in and out slowly, and breathe or moving with your breath. As you're moving in slow motion, just notice the sensations in your body. As you're reaching up, you might feel the lengthening through the sides of your body. And of course, since your arms are in motion, just notice your shoulders. Part of our work today will just be kind of warming up the shoulders, getting into the shoulder joints a little bit. Reaching into the air, feel as if you're going to touch the sky. And of course, when you exhale, arms come down, just draw your navel inward towards your spine. Just keeping that core engagement. Let's do this 2 more times. Very good. And when you finish, just let your arms and hands just relax here. Let the shoulders relax. Just take a breath or 2. From here, go ahead and take your hands behind you. Just lean back onto your palms or fingertips. I happen to be sitting up on a block, and so it just makes it more comfortable for me just to rest on my fingertips behind me. And then just feel the shoulders also draw back. There might be some effort in doing that. Roll the shoulders back, and if you can't, even squeeze the shoulder blades together just a little bit so you feel your upper back muscles. And then tip your chin up a little. As we press into the ground with the palms or fingertips, inhale. Once again, feeling the breath rising to fill up your lungs. Exhaling, drawing navel inward towards your spine. Again, inhale, feel the breath rising. Exhale for the connection. Let's just do that a few more times. So we're in a mild back bend. You may even feel more engagement in the body, especially as you're pressing into the ground, arms behind you, shoulders drawing back, squeezing shoulder blades together. And of course, your chest expanding as you breathe in, and your core engagement as you exhale. Once again, drawing navel inward towards spine. Go ahead and take 1 more breath in and out, just like that. And when you're complete, just lower your chin, walk your hands towards yourself. Let's go ahead and extend the arms out and up. Just reach up, just feel the re-extension of the spine. Exhale, arms back down by your side. We're going to stay seated, but if your legs are crossed, we're going to uncross the legs and place the soles of the feet together, just coming to a cobbler's pose, just to get some hip opening here. You can hold on to your ankles or shins or even reach down for your toes. But you want to be able to sit up nice and tall initially. So as we do that, we'll inhale and feel a tallness in the upper body. Exhale, connect your center, and then start to hinge at the hips, leaning forward just a little bit, leading with your heart and chin. And if you can see me, I didn't go down too far. I didn't hinge forward too far, just a little bit. Stay here, then inhale and continue to extend the spine right here. Exhale, draw belly in, hinge forward a tiny bit more, and just start to notice the sensations in the body. You might feel a stretch or release or a lengthening in the inner thighs. For a moment, let's keep the spine as straight as possible. And then you might feel yourself start to go a little lower, but in this case, you might lower your chin and allow your back to round so that you can lower yourself a little bit more in this posture. If you need a little extra support, just place your hands on your mat so you can just kind of hold yourself up. And with the back rounded, you may feel this nice curvature in the spine, even a stretch quality down through the whole back, as well as an opening in the hips. Continue with your deep breathing. Two more breaths. After the second breath, just notice if your back is still rounded. If it did, just go ahead and lift your chin a little bit. Look forward to help re-extend your spine. Just look out in front of you. Hands on your mat here, and then press to help lift yourself up until you're nice and tall in your seat. Hold here for a moment as we complete that short sequence. Let's go ahead and reposition our bodies. Let's come to our hands and knees. Here you might use your blanket for some padding. Since I don't have my blanket today, another thing you could do if you don't have a blanket is you can just fold your mat. If you have a thinner mat, you might fold your mat in like this. So you can rest your knees on, even your hands, right there on the mat. So this is another way to add some padding if you don't have a blanket underneath you. So just come to this tabletop posture. We're going to move into cat and cow. So we're going to inhale, lift head and heart just like this. So it's a little arch in the back. So create a little back bend. Exhale, round it all out. We're going to do this a few times, and we're going to pay attention to a few extra things since we always come back to this flow. You're going to inhale, look up, arching the back slightly. Exhale, round it all out. As you round, you feel the chin tuck in towards your chest, your belly button pulling up towards spine. Now, as you just continue to flow, moving through these two postures, cat and cow, you feel this natural undulation of the spine. You may even feel this rocking sensation in the pelvis. But as you're doing all of this, just make sure your hands are pressing firmly into the mat and your arms stay straight in the process. Even though the arms aren't in motion, because the torso is moving, you are getting into the shoulders a little bit. When you exhale, pay attention to the exhale and the nice broadening of the back. Pulling the belly button up towards spine, but a nice rounded spine and broad upper back. Inhale to arch, looking forward. Exhale, chin to chest, broaden the back, hands pushing into the ground, belly button pulls up towards spine. Let's do that 2 more times. So remember that broadening of the back sensation, because that too is going to help us in our upper body strengthening. When you're complete, just come back to a neutral tabletop position. Just pause here. And if you're using a blanket, you can just set that to the side. If you folded your mat like I did, you can unfold it. And then from here, getting ready for our downward facing dog, you're going to step your hands forward. And as you step your hands forward, spread out your fingers pretty wide. So you have a nice base, plus you'll feel a stretch between each finger. We do want a broad base, stretching the fingers and kind of lean into the hands, press firmly into the mat to stretch and open your palms. Once again, press strongly so your arms stay straight and strong. Then tuck your toes behind you. Let's do another cat and cow. Cow is the first pose with the inhale, so look forward. Exhale into cat pose, the second posture. Hold your cat position. Arms are straight and strong. Lift your knees, lift your hips up into the air. This will take you to downward facing dog. Now you might need to adjust your feet a little bit, even your hands a little bit, just to help settle into the pose. We won't be here too long. Now go ahead and look at the space between your hands and just start stepping forward, walking forward, up towards the hands, just to a place until your feet feel flat on the mat. That might be right in the center of your mat. You'll be in a deep forward fold right here. Inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs to extend your spine so it's long and flat. We're going to hold here. Exhale and just hold. So you're a nice long tabletop. There's an energy in the body. Feel as if the top of your head is leading you forward. Your tailbone's leading you to the back of the room. Your hands can just rest on your shins for support. And of course, the exhale, still pull belly button up, in this case, towards your spine. From here, you're going to lean back into your heels. Bend your knees, let your hips drop. Feel like you're about to sit down in a low chair. Look forward. Take your arms out to the side, and then we'll stand up nice and tall. And inhale, reaching upward, extended mountain. Exhale, bring your arms down by your side. And once we've finished here, just go ahead and turn your palms forward. So we have a nice posturing for the entire body. Breathing in and out. We're going to go through that half salute once again. When you're ready, here we go. Inhale, reach into the air. Treat it like a good stretch. Reach high. Exhale, spread your wings or bring them out to the side. Bend your knees, sitting back into the imaginary chair. Bending your knees, making your way down towards your toes. Then inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs to extend your spine. This exhale will fold back down towards your toes. Let's hold here for a few breaths. So that natural curvature in the spine, a nice release. And if you're able to, just hang heavily forward here so you can roll your shoulders, make circles with your shoulders, even a gentle shake in your head. Just notice any tension in the upper back, neck, shoulders. Then as you inhale, slide your hands back up to your knees or thighs and extend your spine. Return to that tabletop posture for a quick pause right here. Then lean back into your heels, bend your knees a bit more, look forward, and sweep your arms out to the side as you now stand up, reaching into the air. Extended mountain pose. Exhale, arms down by your side. Mountain pose, arms or palms face forward. Just hold for a couple breaths. Very good. All right, we'll continue and just adding on to our sun salute. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the air. Big stretch, reach high. Good effort. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back and down, slowly coming down. Good control here. Maybe touching your toes. You might just have your hands land at your shins. That's good. Inhale, rise up halfway so the top of your head leads you forward. Now on this exhale, slide back down. Bend the knees more so you can place your palms flat on your mat. Then start walking, stepping both feet back until you're in plank pose. Now we're going to hold here for a moment. This is part of our upper body strengthening. Your fingers have spread apart wide. You're pushing into the ground, feeling as if you might push your hands deep into the ground, or even feel like you're trying to push yourself farther away from the ground. Just check in with your hips. If your hips are low like mine are at the moment, lift your hips up, maybe to shoulder level, and even slightly higher than that. And that's going to create just a gentle, mild curve in the spine. And just as we did the cat and cow, we rounded the back. So you might be able to round the back again, just a little bit. So again, pushing hands into the ground, that broadening of the back, pull belly button up towards spine. Now, if you get tired here, just simply bring your knees to the ground. We're not going to be here too much longer. Breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air, downward facing dog. Now, before we move on from here, let's go ahead and take a rest. Bring the knees down to the mat and sit back into child's pose. Let's make this an active child's pose, meaning as you sit back, hips coming down towards heels, really extend the arms way out in front, as if you're trying to reach past the edge of your mat. And some breath. So it's doing a couple things. One, it's kind of relaxing us a little bit, but we're active in the pose to get into the back, your shoulders, and even your chest here. A little stretching and lengthening in those muscles. Let's just take a couple more breaths. Take your time. We'll just rise back up to hands and knees. Hands can still stay out in front of you here. Tuck your toes, lift your knees and hips, or return to downward facing dog. Let's continue with our lunge sequence. We're going to inhale, extend the right leg up behind you. Reach back nice and long. Exhale, bend your right knee. You're going to bring the right knee in underneath you towards your chest. Shift your body weight forward until your shoulders are over the wrist. Hold for a second. More upper body strengthening. Keep pushing hands into the mat. That right foot still lifted. Now just set it onto the floor, your right foot. Doesn't matter where. Then you can set your left knee onto the floor and reach back and pick up the right foot and place it near the top of the mat. So we're ready for our lunge. Relift the left knee and then shift your weight back so there's less weight on the palms. Even rise up to fingertips. That's a good test to know that you don't have all the weight in your hands.
Then walk your hands up to your thigh, the right thigh. Push into your thigh to rise up to about 45 degrees right here. Keep this good extension. As you're extending through the torso, extend through that back left leg, through the left heel behind you. So you can see the straight line in my body right here. Now sweep the arms out to the side, rise up, reach up into the air. Now we're perpendicular to the ground. Reach up, big stretch, and then lunge a little deeper. Hold for a moment here, just so you can feel this in the legs, arms extending up, so you might feel this in your shoulders. We're going to inhale, lift a little to unlock the hips. Turn so you can open up into a warrior two. So the left heel comes down behind you, then your arms extend out side to side. Hold for a moment here, so you might even feel this in the shoulders. Really engaging. All right, let's reach out past the right knee to angle the upper half of the body. Go ahead and bend your right arm. You're going to bring that arm down to your right thigh. Just let it rest there and bring the left hand up into the air. Nice extension as if you're going to touch the ceiling. It's also a nice opening of the body. Stay right here, but you're going to bring your left hand down behind you, just to your low back. And we're going to continue some circles with the shoulder. So some nice rolling of the shoulder. I'm just doing this a few times. Circles. Going to be one more. On that last one, just hold the shoulder back as if you're just trying to puff up the chest. Let's inhale to re-extend this left arm up into the air. Exhale, we'll turn the body towards the ground. Carefully bend and bring your palms down to the ground. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. This should put you in a runner's lunge. Once again, press strongly into the ground with the hands. Lift the hips as high as they can so it takes the weight off the right foot so you can slide it back into plank. And once again, we're going to hold. Check in to see if the hips are as high as your shoulders or slightly higher than your shoulders so you can create that roundedness in the back, especially in the upper back. Pull belly button up towards spine. Then bend your knees, send your hips into the air, downward facing dog. Let's do the other side, our lunge sequence. Inhale, extend left leg up and back, reach. Exhale, bring left knee in underneath you towards your chest. Shift your body weight forward. Shoulders will end up stacked over the wrist. Let's see if we can pause here for a moment. Knee is still lifted. Foot is off the ground. Then set the left set of toes on the floor. Doesn't matter where. Then set your right knee down so we can go back, pick up the left foot and just place it up near the top of the mat for the lunge. Let's relift that back knee. Pull the weight of the body back so you can come off the palms and rise to fingertips. That way you know you're a little bit more balanced and off the hands. Walk your hands up to your thigh. Press into the thigh to help extend spine. Let's hold here. Feel that straight, long, strong leg behind you. I'm even pushing back through the heel so you can feel the energy in that whole leg. Now take your arms out, rise up, reach into the air. This is our high lunge. Good lift and a nice lunge to finish. Hold here for a couple of breaths. Notice what's happening in the body. Good. We're going to inhale, lift a little so you can pivot right heel to the ground. Bring your arms down to parallel warrior two. You may feel your shoulders acting and working very hard for you just to keep the arms in the air. Let's reach out with the left hand. We're going to bend the left arm at 90 degrees and bring that forearm down to the thigh. Let it rest there. And then bring your right hand up into the air. So we're in our side angle pose, modified, which means we're not reaching to touch the ground. But a good extension towards the ceiling instead. Stay in the posture, but you're going to bring your right hand down behind you, perhaps just to your low back. But loose enough so you can feel the shoulder create those circles, just to help loosen up. And notice what might be loosening. It's in the shoulder joint, but you might even feel this in the chest a little bit and your upper back. One more circle so you can hold it back, puff up, and open up the chest. Let's inhale to re-extend the right hand up into the air. We'll exhale to turn towards the ground, carefully fold, place your palms flat on the mat. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. Here's our runner's lunge. Press strongly into the ground with the hands. Feel the energy in your arms. Lift your hips so you have that lightness in the foot, so you can slide the left foot back, plank. Then you're going to bring your knees to the ground. Hold here. We're going to keep this as if we're still doing plank pose. Okay? So the fingers are still wide. You're pushing strongly into the ground. Arms are straight. So imagine you're still doing plank. So the knees would be lifted in plank. We just happen to have the knees on the ground. We're going to do what I call a partial push-up. All we're going to do is bend the elbows, lower yourself down just a tiny bit, like you're going to do a push-up. So if you can see me, my elbows are just partially bent, and then push away, back up to straighten the arms. We're going to do that 2 more times. So these are just mini push-ups. A little bend of the elbows, not too far, and then come back up. 1 more time. Inhale to lower, exhale to straighten the arms, engaging the belly. Let's come back to child's pose, sitting back, extending the arms. Let's just keep that nice stretch. Lengthened arms, feel this in the shoulders, chest, and your back. Three more breaths. After your third breath, you're just going to rise up till you're on your haunches, just briefly in hero pose like this, and then just sit off to the side so you can swing the legs around to the front. We're going to move into our core work. I need to adjust my mat here a little bit. So you want to sit like so, where you're sitting up nice and tall with a straight spine. The legs are out in front with the knees bent. Flex your feet here just to keep everything very active. So flex your feet, hold on to the legs here at the bend of the knees and use that as handlebars so you can actually sit up even taller. So a good effort of sitting up tall. And that's an in-breath. Exhale, engage belly. So just feel the belly button pull in towards spine. With that nice engagement, that's the abdominal lock. Keep that, but then lean back just a little bit to maintain the good length. Just check in with the body. Inhale, lift. Exhale, pull belly in, and if you'd like, even lean back a little bit more. Now this could be the end. Maybe this is as far as you want to go. Now you can maintain the hold of the legs, or if you want to, you can release. Have the hands free out in front of you. So we're just doing boat pose. We just happen to have the feet on the ground. This is going to allow us to stay in the pose a little longer, perhaps, to really engage the belly. Now, as I mentioned earlier, even though we're already doing some upper body work, we don't want to always just feel like we're relying on the arms for upper body or just the chest for upper body work, but we also want to engage our core. Now, the core is the whole torso. Here we're engaging the abs. We're going to do a little something to engage the upper back in a moment. All right, let's hold for a couple more breaths. You can always hold back on. One more breath in and out. Then we'll rise up nice and tall so we're getting out of that sensation. And then just sit comfortably, maybe just crossing your legs. Stay here. I'm going to sit on my block again, just so I can sit up taller. It's just a little bit better for my low back if I'm propped up on something. All righty. So from here, you're going to extend both arms up into the air. Just reach up and then bend the elbows. I'll turn a little bit so you can see this. So you're just bending your elbows here at 90 degrees, just like that. So we have this goalpost shape. And from here, you want to pull the arms back. Hopefully you can see that. As you pull the arms back, it's like you were standing in a doorway and your arms are in the door jamb there, and you're trying to go forward, but your arms are caught. But your chest is going forward.
Okay, and the arms are pulling back. And hopefully, maybe you can feel this squeezing in or engaged feeling in your upper back. And that's what we want to feel. Maybe an inhale just to feel yourself grow a little taller. Exhale, squeezing shoulder blades together. Couple more breaths. We're going to rest and we're going to do that again. All right, go ahead and relax the arms. Just bring them down by your side. You might just want to loosen things up there, okay? So just as I was mentioning, for core, we want to feel that nice contraction in the low belly, but also if you can activate your upper back, it really stabilizes the whole torso and it helps in some of our very dynamic postures that might involve upper body. Let's do that again. You're going to inhale, reach into the air, nice stretch. Feel that in the shoulders and the sides of the body. Let's bend the elbows, bring them back down to that 90 degrees. Feel like you're trying to go through the doorway, send the chest forward, pull the arms back, and nice squeeze until you feel those muscles back there. You're going to feel this in the backs of your shoulders, your rhomboids, trapezius muscles, just squeezing to midline or towards your spine. Feel all of that. Stay just like that. I'm just going to add one simple movement. I'm just turning this way so perhaps you can see this. So I'm pulling back, but then keep that pulled back sensation. I'm going to bring my elbows down towards the ribs and just notice any change in the body. Keep that squeezing back sensation. Bring the arms back up just so that you form that 90-degree angle right there. Pull back. Bring the elbows down towards the side of the body, feeling as if maybe your elbows might touch each other behind you. Back up to center. We'll do that one more time. Feel this engagement. Exhale, squeeze, elbows come down. Stay here, but then extend your arms straight out to the sides and then down by your side so you can relax. Shake all of that out, or just some big circles. All right, so again, just that reminder, we have a whole set of muscle groupings we can rely on when we're doing upper body work. Again, not just relying on the arms. All right, let's come out of our seat. Let's come back to hands and knees here. Step the hands forward a little bit. Spread out your fingers, stretching the fingers. Or between the fingers and creating a nice base. Push into the ground, strong arms. Tuck your toes, lift your knees. We are in plank. Push into the ground with the hands, strong arms. Feel the inner arms squeeze in towards each other. Lifting hips enough so you feel that broadening of the upper back. Pull belly button up towards spine. We're going to do that partial push-up again. Bend the elbows just a little bit like you're going to go down for a push-up, just a little, and then push away. We're going to do that 2 more times. Now, you're very welcome to go much lower if you want to, but you don't have to. And of course, this is getting into the arms a little bit, but remember the other body parts, your upper back, your core, your belly. As you push away from the ground, even feel like your hips are lifting as the belly button pulls up towards spine. Let's flow. Step forward a tiny bit with the toes, bend your knees, send your hips into the air, downward facing dog. Inhale, extend right leg up behind you, reach. Exhale, right knee bends, bring it in underneath you towards your chest, shift your body weight forward, hold for a second for the strength, even lift your hips, broaden the back. Set the toes down, right foot down. Set the left knee down if you need to. So you can go and pick up that right foot and place it up higher as you need to. Lift your left knee, send the weight back until you can easily rise to fingertips. Hands to thigh, push into the thigh, rise to extend spine. Let's hold here. Stay here at this angle. Arms out to the side like this. Bend your elbows 90 degrees. Pull shoulder blades together behind you. If you can see me, we're still at this angle, squeezing the shoulder blades together like we did in that seated posture. Stay here, but just rise up until you're nice and tall.
Arms still bent at 90 degrees. Stay just as you are. Extend the arms straight up into the air, then open up into a warrior two. Just flip your palms up. Inhale, reach out with the arms. Exhale, bring elbows in towards your ribs, just like we did in that seated position. Inhale, reach out like you're serving a platter on both hands. Exhale, bring the elbows in towards your ribs. One more time, extend the arms, inhale. Exhale, bring them in. Hold here. Just tip towards the right knee. Set the right arm on your thigh and extend the left arm up into the air. Bring the left hand down behind you to low back. 3 circles with the shoulders, just to kind of loosen up because they were working hard for you there. Hold it back on the third one. Hold for a breath or two. Inhale, re-extend left arm up into the air. Turn, bring hands down to the mat. Palms flat, rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Push into the ground. Let's engage upper back and belly. Slide right foot back, plank pose. Partial push-up to down dog. So you're going to bend the elbows like you're going to do the push-up. Push away to downward facing dog, like that. Other side. Inhale, extend left leg into the air, reach. Exhale, bend the left knee, bring it in underneath you, shifting your body weight forward. Shoulders over wrists, hold there. If you feel like you're sinking into the ground, lift your hips. Push hands into the ground, use the entire body. Now set the left foot down. Right knee can come down. Pick up the left foot up to the top of the mat. Relift the right knee. Rise to fingertips. Feel the extended spine, lightness in the hands. Walk your hands up to your thighs. Stay here at this angle. Be sure to activate that back leg. Take the arms straight out to the side. Bend your elbows at 90 degrees. Pull the arms back, opening up through the chest. Feel the squeezing of the shoulder blades together. Working those muscles. Rise up tall, facing forward. Your arms are still bent at 90 degrees. Hold, open up through the chest. It's like you're going through that doorway again. Just extend the arms straight up into the air. Then open up to your warrior two. Reach. You're going to flip the palms up. Inhale, reach farther out. Exhale, bring elbows in towards ribs. Feel your back body. Inhale, serve the platters. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, reach. One more time. Exhale, bring it in, hold. Squeeze. We're going to tip down to the left knee. Let's just turn so we can bring that left arm to thigh. Right arm extends up into the air. There you go. Stay here, bring the right hand down behind you. Some circles for the right shoulder to loosen it up. 1, 2, and 3. Hold it back, open up through the chest. We're going to inhale, re-extend the right arm up into the air. Exhale, turn. Place the palms on the mat. Spread out your fingers first, then plant those palms into the ground. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Push into the ground. Feel the hips lift, engaging your bellies so that you can lift to slide left foot back. Plank pose. Make sure the hips are nice and high. Remember, relying on other parts of the body to stay strong in the upper body. Partial push-up to downward facing dog. Maybe challenge yourself to go down a little lower. Push until the arms are straight, and then back into downward facing dog. All right, let's bring the knees to the floor and sit back as you're able into hero pose. Now, you don't have to stay in hero pose. You can just take a seat. We're going to do another plank pose, but we're going to change our arm posture. So the arm posture, you can do this with me while you're seated. You're going to fold your fingers like this and create this triangle, like a pyramid, like this.
So your fingers wrapped at the apex and the arms come down at an angle. And so what's going to happen, we're going to be on our arms right down there. But as we bring those arms to the floor, you want to really push into the ground. Let me see if I can turn sideways to see if you can see this. So as I'm pushing forward, I want to feel kind of this broadening of the back, almost like I'm hunching my back. Okay, so I can really feel all of that engagement as I push into the floor eventually. You don't want to sink and sag like that. You want to feel that broadening and expansion of the back. Let me demonstrate it. Don't do it yet. Okay, so I'm going to fold my fingers, make my pyramid. I'm going to come back. I'm going to keep actually I'm going to do this on my toes, lifting the knees. So rather than just sinking to the floor, I'm pushing into the ground and lifting and almost rounding the back here. So I can feel more of my body at work. So it doesn't feel like I'm just going to collapse into my elbows and shoulders. All right, so let's go ahead and do that together. So go ahead and fold your fingers, bring the forearms down to the ground. It's just a different way of doing plank pose when the arms are straight. Now we're just doing them with the elbows bent, creating a nice foundation because of this triangle method. You can stay on your knees if you need to. You're certainly welcome to do that because it still works. Or come up onto your tiptoes. And just be aware, if you don't put any energy in the back body or the back end of the body, this is going to settle into your elbows and shoulders. But push into the ground with your fists and forearms. Lift your hips higher. Broaden the back. Feel that expansion. Pull belly button up towards spine. Hold for 2 more breaths. Very engaging, very strong. This will get into your biceps too. Let's bring the knees to the ground and sit back into child's pose. We'll do 2 versions. One we'll do like we've been doing by extending the arms out in front to lengthen, stretch, make space in the chest, shoulders, and back. And then if you just rest your forehead on the ground, bring your hands behind you as if you're reaching for your feet or the back end of your mat. And let your arms just hang loosely. That way the shoulders can relax here. And of course, you'll have a natural rounding of the back as well. So just breathe and relax here for a moment. Three more breaths. Then take your time. You might even use your hands out in front of you to help press yourself back up. We're going to take a seat. Just slide off to the side, swing the legs around to the front, and then sit in the center of your mat. We're going to go ahead and lie down for the remainder of our practice. So that's all of our upper body work. And because we were really holding and engaging, that's what's going to do that upper body strengthening. So once you come all the way down, go ahead and hug the knees into the chest. Maybe some circles. I like to hold on to the knees and just make circles with the knees. And that way you get into the low back and your hips a little bit. We're going to come to bridge pose in a moment. And you can make this a supportive bridge pose if you have some props. So go ahead and set your feet onto the ground. Keep the knees bent. If you've got a couple of blocks nearby or something that's stackable, have them nearby. You'll exhale and press feet into the ground. Lift your hips up into the air. Now you can certainly hold here like this for a very engaging posture, or slide your props underneath you and literally just sit. So it's a little bit more relaxed in nature. So we're in a nice supported back bend, the supported bridge pose. Just breathe normally. Breathe deeply, perhaps, though. Now you're welcome just to stay in this position for the duration. You can certainly add the inverted pose that we sometimes do with this, and that's just extending the legs straight up into the air. If you're still sitting on the blocks, you can just stay on the blocks and then just extend the legs straight up.
You can certainly do this without the blocks and just lie flat on the mat and extend the legs. Again, this is just optional today. You don't have to do this. Just to get into the legs a little bit after doing our upper body work. And then after just holding that leg extension, just add some mobility, some flowing through the legs, just to get into your hips, your knees, even your ankles. So you might want to just circle the feet to get into the ankles a little bit. If you can wiggle your toes, just getting into the joints. So we certainly used our strong bodies, our joints to move. So I'm just going to loosen them up a little bit. Move in any way you'd like. I was doing bicycle pedals, which is kind of nice, but then you can kind of stretch out the legs out to the side, then bring them in and cross. You can even kind of wrap up the legs, kind of doing this eagle leg posture. Kind of gets into the outer hips if you need a little stretch in the outer hips in this position. Just a few more breaths. Finishing by extending the legs straight back up into the air. Then bend your knees, set your feet back down onto the mat. If you're on the blocks or your props, lifting the hips to remove your blocks, then come back down to the ground. Let's do a hip opener here. So you can bring the legs together so the legs perhaps touch, but then take the knees out to the side, to the left and to the right. So you can place the soles of your feet together. Press the soles of your feet together, or they just simply touch. So we're in reclining cobbler's pose. We did this seated, and now we're just doing it lying down. And it's very comfortable, it's very relaxing. It's a nice natural stretch in the inner thighs. If the legs don't make it down to the ground, because they certainly don't have to if the inner thighs are a little tight for you, again, use your props again, or anything, maybe a couple of pillows or whatever you've got, and just maybe tuck those props underneath the knees so that the legs don't feel like they're really being pulled open, because you want them to open naturally for a nice stretch and not a forced stretch. And that might even relax the body even more. And after all your upper body work, hopefully your upper body is feeling relaxed now. Let's just take 3 more breaths here. You're certainly welcome to stay here longer if you'd like. Our next pose is a twist. So whenever you're ready to move, you might bring the knees together again. You can move your props out of the way. Give yourself another hug if you'd like. Draw the knees in to the body. And then from there, take the knees over to the left side for the twist. Both knees to the left as you extend your right arm to the right. And that should put a natural rotation in the spine. I tend to take the left hand in this case and just place it on top of that right leg and a gentle press down towards the floor just to emphasize the twist. It's not forceful, it's just a little guidance there. And same thing if the knees don't touch, or if that left knee doesn't touch the ground, then use your blocks. You might place a block or a pillow between the knees, or you might even place something underneath that left leg, just in case it doesn't make it all the way to the floor. You want to be mindful of your spine. You don't want to over-rotate if that doesn't feel good for you. We'll take a few more breaths. When you're ready, take your time, no rush. You can bring your knees back up to center. We'll pause in center, just so everything comes back to neutral. And then take the knees down to the other side. Same thing, if this is too much on that low back or anywhere along the spine, use props, either between the knees, which I think I'll do. I'll place a block between my knees. That way it just feels a little bit more relaxed. Or place a block or an object underneath the right knee. Then extend or reach the left arm to the left wall.
Just see if you can just relax into the pose. Let's take 3 more breaths. When you're ready to move, let's go ahead and bring the knees back up to center. Another pause. And while you're holding here, just think about which posture you'd like to do next. It could be another set of movements, stretching, lengthening, it's something engaging perhaps, or maybe you're ready to move right into Shavasana or any other restorative position. So again, choose another movement or pose that you'd like to do to help finish your moving practice, and then move into the pose that's going to be the most relaxing for you. That could be Shavasana, or just lying flat on your back, arms down by your side, palms facing up perhaps. Or you might want to place something underneath you. It could be that blanket for your whole body, or your head if your head needs a little cushion. I've got my bolster. I'm going to use my bolster to actually elevate my legs a little bit. I like to put a bend in the knees. It just feels a little bit better on my back. And so the bolster just acts as support, so I can keep my knees bent. And now my low back just feels so much softer, and with greater ease. And I can just relax even more so in this position. So prepare your props in any way that feels great for you. Settle in, maybe close your eyes, and then just focus on your breathing. Stay exactly where you are. Just notice your breath. Come to the awareness of your breathing while you're still lying in stillness. Continue to be aware of your breathing. And as you're noticing your own breath, take 5 slow breaths. deep breaths. Feel this flow of energy moving through your body. Perhaps the strength you practiced in your upper body can now flourish through your entire body. Feel movement return to your body. You might just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, move your hands, move your feet. Just that gentle stirring in the body. And then carefully, slowly, start rolling over to either side of your body. You might roll onto your side into a nurturing position. It might resemble a fetal posture. And as slowly as you can, begin to rise to a seated posture. And when you've arrived and seated, just feel that nice extension in the spine, sitting up as tall as can be. You can just let your arms and hands just rest in your lap, or you can even bring hands to heart center. On your own, just take one more full breath in and out. Then hold in stillness, breathing gently. And as we complete our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste.
Hi there, thank you so much for joining me in this yoga class. If you enjoyed it, feel free to click that like button and don't forget to subscribe so you can see upcoming yoga videos with me. Take care, thank you.